Imagine a frosty Siberian night where massive crates of Tsar's gold vanish into icy tunnels under NKVD guards. Like a scene ripped from a spy thriller, only it's shockingly real. Whispers of frozen funds and coded messages spread through Harbin's black market, hinting at a treasure hidden far from prying eyes in dark underground vaults. What if those glittering bars finance the Soviet state? Stay tuned. This mystery is about to unfold. All right, picture this. By the icy winter of 1917, the Russian Empire's treasury, once guarded like Fort Knox, slammed into Bolshevik control, unleashing a financial earthquake that would make today's Bitcoin roller coaster look tame. The stage, a collapsing empire where senior banking regulators, wealthy investment tycoons, and government advisors scramble like wolves for a slice of imperial gold. Lenin's new leadership appointed the NKVD, the precursor to the KGB, to oversee every ingot and bracelet, turning vaults into rabbit holes of secret ledgers. Meanwhile, Allied legations, diplomats and intelligence operatives in London, Paris, and Washington scribbled frantic cables about a covert stash known as the Frozen Fund. It was basically an offshore trust scheme before offshore trusts were even trendy, with shell companies, bribery, and money laundering shuffling bullion beyond anyone's gaze. At the same time, luxury auction houses in Geneva and Monte Carlo buzzed with rumors when Tsarist-era gold, silver, and jewelry began surfacing under innocuous labels like maple leaf deposits. You can almost see British spies slamming Holmesian notebooks shut as they learn imperial ingots slipped through customs, igniting diplomatic chaos. With these key players, the Bolshevik bureaucrats, NKVD enforcers, Allied spies, and auction magnates, all in play, the plot thickens. Now that you know who's pulling the strings, let's trace that glittering loot from Siberian mines to glamorous European galleries. Let's dive into the first clue, the mysterious account. Picture a dimly lit office in Moscow where an NKVD clerk whispers into a rotary phone, "Transfer 10 million gold rubles to account 451-B," as if sharing state secrets with a bedtime story. That coded number was just one of many shell company accounts set up under fake names. An early off-the-books hedge arbitrage play, buying gold cheap in Siberia, then selling it for silver in Paris. Think of it like trying to corner a stock before anyone knows you exist. Only this was bullion. By March 1918, the ledger sheets vanished, leaving nothing but ghost entries and redacted margins. Investors and spies alike scratched their heads. Who was tipping off European brokers? Rumor had it Sir Raleigh Davenport, a British intelligence asset posing as a diamond merchant, funneled insider leads. How he got those leads? That's precisely what we're about to unravel. Now on to the second clue, the international informant. Enter a shadowy figure known only as Maple Leaf, a codename scribbled on a smuggler's letter found in Harbin. Imagine a courier slipping through frozen passes with a satchel full of handwritten notes, evading checkpoints more slippery than a rookie trader's pitch. Maple Leaf claimed to have evidence of gold shipments bound for Geneva auctions, jewelry stamped with imperial seals disguised as Russian modernist artifacts. A French intelligence attaché named Camille Dupont intercepted those envelopes and, over a dram of cognac, decoded messages indicating auctions with starting bids that defied logic. You can almost see Dupont's monocle popping out as he realizes these artifacts are really gilded meditation on chaos. Tsarist treasures rebranded to finance Soviet heavy industry. At this point, other European agencies sat up in alarm. Did they just stumble onto the world's classiest shell game? Third clue, the sudden disappearance of funds. Fast forward to late 1918, when Allied legations in London and Paris discover auction catalogs listing imperial jewels from unverified sources. By the time diplomats protested, tens of millions worth of gold had already flooded Swiss banks. Picture a grand Geneva hall, chandeliers glittering like Moscow's Kremlin, as bidders in top hats and mink coats clink champagne flutes, whispering, "Is this really Tsar Nicholas's sapphire cufflinks?" Meanwhile, half a continent away, the NKVD celebrated with black market brokers, pockets bulging with rubles converted into foreign holdings. The question on everyone's lips, Did Soviet insiders strike deals with British financiers in exchange for intelligence favors or geopolitical leverage? It was like watching two MasterCard sharks play poker with the fates of empires, a gamble that could cost more than pocket change. Next segment, the fourth clue, whistleblower confessions. In 1919, a defector named Ivan Kolchak, no relation to the White Admiral, surfaced in Paris, claiming he oversaw storage of bullion in Yakutsk mines. He painted a scene, ice-coated tunnels where gold bars gleamed under lantern light, guarded by NKVD agents who lived off rationed kasha and vodka. It was like you were staring at a sea of molten sun, Kolchak sniffed, dramatic enough to make a stage actor weep. He handed over maps showing hidden caverns, but before he could testify in British Parliament, he disappeared, officially declared missing, unofficially assumed neutralized. His vanishing act only fueled whispers. Were Western spies eliminating loose ends? Or did Kolchak's handlers in London turn him into a snack for Siberian wolves? Either way, the trail went cold. Finally, the fifth clue, auction footprints. By 1920, investigators triangulated records from Geneva, Monte Carlo, and London, discovering a peculiar pattern. Gold ingots labeled Maple Leaf Reserve sold at 120% of market price, while matching silver bars sold at discounted rates in Marseille. That's textbook laundering. Inflate one asset's worth, then trade the other at a loss to mask illegal proceeds. You can almost feel the gulf between the glittering gala and the grimy backroom where dirty money danced across borders. This complex network linked Soviet officials, British financiers, and French auctioneers, proof that even revolutionary zealots knew a good arbitrage when they saw one. With each clue building a higher level of tension, real gold and fake labels, diplomats gasping over tea, whistleblowers disappearing, our story pulses like a spy novel, blended with a financial thriller. What dark secret will break the case wide open? Hang tight, because in the next module, we expose the climax and reveal how these clues converge into a jaw-dropping truth that redefines everything. Here's where everything comes together. Tracing that glittering trail from Siberian mines to European auction houses reveals a web of intrigue that would make even James Bond's jaw drop. Remember the Maple Leaf Reserve gold bars sold at a 120% markup? It wasn't just a random markup. It was a deliberate signal to British financiers that these were premium, insider-grade assets, effectively laundering money through inflated premiums. Meanwhile, silver bars sold at a steep discount in Marseille masked the true profits, like hiding a lion in a pile of hay. No one would suspect the roar until it was too late. Now let's shine a light on the major breakthrough. Decoded cables from the British Foreign Office to MI6 revealed direct contacts between NKVD operatives and Sir Raleigh Davenport. Those cables described secret meetings in London clubs where Soviet envoys handed over crates marked diplomatic cargo, a loophole that let them slip valuables past customs without scrutiny. Think of it as diplomatic immunity on steroids. An old gold bracelet could cross borders bearing a diplomat's privilege tag, making it untouchable by regular inspectors. Suddenly, that sly chatter in Moscow's NKVD office wasn't just rumor. It was a refined operation involving high-stakes geopolitical poker. Next, French intelligence reports show how auction magnates in Geneva were complicit. Auction catalogs listed Tsarist artifacts with origin stories about Viking relics to throw off suspicions. The head of a renowned Geneva auction house, Etienne Lemoine, later revealed in a leaked memoir that dozens of gold pieces bore hidden markings, tiny Cyrillic letters etched beneath enamel, only visible under infrared. That's like finding a secret watermark in a Picasso painting. That hidden signature confirmed these trinkets belonged to the Romanov collection. So while bidders toasted champagne, they were unknowingly financing a nascent industrial powerhouse deep in the Urals. But here's the twist. When the KGB, successor of NKVD, examined post-auction proceeds, they discovered British financiers had skimmed a hefty 20% consulting fee under the guise of risk premium. That's insider arbitrage at its finest. Pay me and I'll make your transaction look legit. No questions asked. Those fees financed MI6's covert operations in Central Asia, creating a mutual backscratch arrangement. Imagine that, Soviet gold fueling British espionage. It's like two rival chess players agreeing to trade queens mid-game just to dominate the board later. In the end, diplomatic pressure forced the Swiss to freeze several accounts, but by then most bullion was long melted down or recast into innocuous industrial machinery. The climax, archival footage shows a melted gold ingot stamped Empire to Proletariat, now hidden in the frame of a Soviet-era office building in Yekaterinburg. Who would guess the ornate lamp base in that communist bureaucrat's office once adorned the Tsar's palace throne room? That's the ultimate reveal. The gold wasn't just money, it was a symbol of power, repurposed to build a new world order under the watchful eyes of former allies turned enemies. As the final echoes of that Siberian gold heist fade, we're left with more than just a stash of melted ingots hidden behind bureaucratic wallpaper. This tale reminds modern investors that behind every glittering opportunity lurks the risk of unseen puppeteers, be they government agents or secretive financiers. In today's world, offshore trusts and darknet markets can play the same role that Maple Leaf accounts once did, shrouding transactions in mystery until it's too late to pull the rug. Remember, if something seems too good to be true, like gold sold for a pittance in Marseille, it probably is. Think back on those ink-black tunnels near Kolyma, where each bullion bar gleamed like a promise of power. That image speaks to the timeless allure of hard assets, but also to the dangers of conflating value with invincibility. The Bolsheviks believed that gold could buy tanks, steel mills, and, quite literally, the loyalty of foreign dealers. But in the end, that hoard-financed espionage, more than industry, a sobering lesson in how money often fuels motives far from transparent. So, what can you, the everyday investor, learn from this? First, due diligence isn't just financial boilerplate. It's your shield against modern diplomatic immunity schemes cloaked as legitimate trades. Second, alliances in finance, like those between Soviet insiders and British spy masters, can be fleeting. Ask yourself, who stands to gain if you unknowingly bankroll a hidden agenda? Finally, remember the words of that whistleblower, Ivan Kolchak. You can hide gold, but you can't hide its trail. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and always question a deal that comes wrapped in too much secrecy. If you enjoyed unraveling this Cold War mystery, hit that subscribe button for more financial history thrillers. Give this video a thumbs up if you want deeper dives into vanished treasures and shadowy markets. Drop a comment. What modern frozen fund intrigues you? Until next time, stay sharp and never let the allure of hidden gold blind your better judgment.